Today's episode feels really special to us, not because of the title, but because of time. Jordyn has been with the Heritage Group, oh my gosh, for almost 6 years now. And starting alongside us in the office and growing with the business, not only is she an important part of Heritage Group, but she's one of ours. And I say ours, I'm being a little, I'm letting you share with me.
We share.
But Jordyn is Justina's daughter, and she's pretty incredible.
Agreed. We are so excited to have you here today. And tell us who you're holding.
Yes, baby Brecken. She's brand new to the team, 2 months old. She's enjoying
Our biggest announcement
I
and our most beautiful member of
Yes.
Heritage Group.
Guys, when I
Oh, my
say
word.
she's perfect, and not just because I'm her Nana, but she is perfection.
Yeah.
Perfect.
She's the only accomplishment that Erica remembered to shout out at our training. Everyone else got like career shout outs, and she was just like, and Jordyn had Brecken. And I was like, okay, that'll work.
I mean, can you blame me? She kind of overshadowed her. We love you, Brecken. Can you
Yeah,
turn her
you
just
can.
a little? Oh my gosh, she's so
Oh,
cute.
gosh.
Maybe we can put a little picture up
Yes, for
of
sure.
Brecken.
Yeah.
For sure.
And she's
Her's
going
a
to go
sleepy
home with her
girl.
daddy, I think. We're not going to force her to stay
She
during the
should.
whole
She-
episode, but
She's very tired.
she's so
Her's a sleepy
beautiful.
girl.
And just so you guys know, she has a Christmas outfit on, and she looks
We did get
so
a picture.
cute.
Oh gosh. We did get a picture of her in the podcast chair with the outfit. So
Yes,
we
we
can-
did.
good. We
So we'll have
did,
to
yeah.
pop that up.
Yes.
Her
Okay.
first podcast. and
Yes.
We documented and yes.
The youngest one to be on the pod. Well, I'm excited for this. First of all, you've worn many hats, Jordyn. And
Yes.
sometimes I wonder if people really even know how many hats. I doubt that they do.
No.
But if we've ever looked organized, polished,
Put
We
together,
need to-
on time, anything, it's because of Jordyn.
it's because of Jordyn.
Always because of Jordyn.
Always because
Yeah.
of Jordyn.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to talk. Can y'all still hear baby Brecky? She's making her exit.
Yes.
She doesn't want to leave,
sorry.
guys.
Don't be sorry. Listen, all of us have
Yeah.
enjoyed that season.
Oh my gosh.
and
yeah.
honestly, I'm speaking for you because I feel like I'm getting to practice with your grandbaby, but as a Nana, it's totally different experience when you hear those baby cries than when you were a parent.
Yes. Yeah. We actually joked earlier. I said when Silas was little, I would put a blanket on the floor in my office and little things, and he would lay on the floor and just kind of kick around and stuff. And I had Brecken earlier this morning, and I looked on the floor and I was like, she can't lay
She
on
won't
the
be. She won't be touching that
She
floor.
will not be.
Matter of fact, she won't be touching anything but our arms.
Yes,
today.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
It was fun having her. We loved it. But I really want to talk about the process behind the growth, because one of the things Justina and I, when we started Heritage Group, what we really wanted to do was bring our family
Mhm.
along. It was a legacy, a heritage that we wanted to create. And the first person to come alongside and want to do that was Jordyn.
Yeah. Even before she even had a position, when I told Jordyn that we were starting the company and what was going on, she called. I just remember the very next morning she called and was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I've got to go here, and do all of these things." And she goes, "Okay, I'll meet you." And like immediately was like, "I'm all in. Let's go. Let's do this." And yeah, so it's been amazing having you with us.
I heard one time that if you ever wanted to grow in a business, if you ever wanted to reach another level in business, in your career, to take something off of the plate, and actually it's like 2 people above you is the goal, but with us, it was just us. So I just remember specifically, Jordyn, you walked in and you just took so much off of our plate, and that was your heart, is how can I, and actually one of the things you did is, because we're not very good at telling you what's on our plate, so you would anticipate it. You would just fill that role before we would even ask. And yes, you are younger than a lot of people in real estate, but it stood out very early on that you wanted to make it a career, and you wanted to make sure that you were not just showing up, but that you were really taking things off of our plate, and we just appreciate it so much. So I really want to pull back the curtain and let people see who Jordyn has been to us and where she's going. The early days. This is going to be fun, and also it feels very vulnerable, to be quite honest with you, because you were one of the very, I mean, we talk about Brandon being with us, we talk about Miss Yolanda and Ashley being OG, but we haven't had you in this hot seat.
Yeah.
And so I'm
No.
a little scared as to what you were gonna be telling us,
I
but I
know.
I'm
feel like it'll
scared.
be
I was a
fun.
baby. I was 18 when I
Were
started with
you
you
really?
guys.
That's bizarre to
Yes.
me.
I know. I was
I know, because
18.
we're 25
Yeah,
and
I mean, you literally
23.
had a
Yeah.
baby at 12
Yeah.
I know.
years old.
Yeah.
So from the beginning, my mom's right. Like as soon as she said that you guys were doing this, I was so excited. I obviously crashed all of the things. I remember the very first thing that we all did together is we went to Home Goods because you can't have an office without
Oh my gosh.
We
purchasing
gotta
We had the
all the
best Home
things.
Goods
We
trips.
We
did. We
did.
had the
Yeah.
Home Goods. Erica introduced us to Local Lime, which is where I
Yes.
make it a point to eat every single time that I
Yes.
go to
Mhm.
Rogers. Every time.
Oh.
No, that was such a fun day, and I think that was one of the obviously, we knew you and were close
Yep.
prior to it,
Yep.
but
Mhm.
this was just diving in with both feet. I drove home from college because I was like, "I am not missing that."
That's right. You were still at Tech
I
at
was in
that time, so
Russellville.
she was coming back from Russellville. Because there was a couple times that I went to the Home Goods in Conway, and I would
Yes.
stop and pick up you and Tanner
Yeah.
to go have dinner,
Oh my
and then
gosh.
No, and
because not only were at that time were we looking for things for the office, but we were also helping style the porches,
yeah, the
the
Oh, that's right.
Airbnbs, and
Gosh, I totally
everything.
forgot about
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't remember, because I barely remember, for our audience, you know, one of the first things that we did together when we started talking, and even before we started talking,
Mhm.
my family was building out the porches, and that's where Justina came along, and
Mhm.
we were going to sell the porches over in Chaffee, and
Yeah.
we ended up keeping those. But I forgot, you guys were a big help in the beginning of
yes.
when we decided to keep them. We were
Mhm.
styling the Airbnbs and all that stuff, and so you really got hands-on experience in many different
Mhm.
ways, not just
Yes.
real estate,
Right.
which is very helpful. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. What was it like working with me and your mom back then? And you
I
can
don't
be
know. There's
honest, because I think
We're
it's
like safe
fun to
space.
be candid,
Right.
No, for
because I
sure.
think we can all say in this space that we have grown
Oh,
a
Yeah.
yes.
whole
Oh,
lot,
yeah.
which
For
is
sure.
the
Yeah.
sign, I think, of a healthy culture is that there's
Mhm.
growth. So there's your freedom. There's your ticket,
No,
to be
you
honest.
guys were definitely great, and it wasn't in the beginning, it wasn't like you guys were looking to have me on in a position, so
Mhm.
really my goal was to just hang out and, again, do whatever I could see that you
Yeah.
guys needed, and I enjoyed it so much. I had always thought about going into real estate or things like that, and this was the perfect opportunity. It being around you guys and like the fun things was why I decided to transfer to UFIS for my second
Mhm.
semester of college. I was like, okay, Russellville's too far. I can't do it.
Mhm.
I got to come
Mhm.
home so I can be a part of
Yeah.
all the things.
Do you
Getting to
remember calling us in your business class
no,
at UAFS?
I really don't.
One of the
Gosh.
classes you called, or you said something, I guess, to the professor, and he's like, "Well, can you ask
Oh,
them? Can you
yes,
call them
I
right
do
now?" And
remember
yeah,
that. Yeah, gosh,
we were like,
there's
"Heck yes! Look at us."
We
Yeah.
made it. We're gonna give you our 2 weeks of business. No, I'm
Yes,
just
Yeah.
kidding. We're gonna give you all of our
Here's all the things
experience.
that we have learned at that moment.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It
No,
was
that's crazy.
exciting to see and to like watch you guys, and I feel like you guys were, stepping into new roles just
Mhm.
as much as I was, like
Yep.
coming around. And so it was very interesting to see the different positions and roles that you
Mhm.
guys played and what you
Mhm.
took on versus what you let go of and things like that.
That's a neat perspective too,
Yeah.
because I think that's something as a business owner that you learn pretty early. And we've had other businesses.
Mhm.
However, in this particular business, it was working a lot with people. And as we added to our team, there was a lot that we learned we can't keep major control of. We
Yeah.
have to delegate.
Mhm.
And that was harder for me. I don't know if it was hard for you. Was it hard
Oh,
for you to
definitely.
delegate?
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you own your own business, you feel like you're failing if you're turning it over to somebody else,
Yes.
or it's just a control thing where you think I can
Mhm.
do this better than everyone else. And I'll just be honest. And what we learned quickly is one person that we could hand something to that would do it better than us is Jordyn.
Every
So that was
time.
super helpful. God
Every
knew we
time.
needed her.
She is not available. If anybody
Yeah,
is
exactly.
asking, she
Now
is
we
not.
have had several offers along the way
Yes.
since
Yeah.
maybe year one. We had people trying to steal you from us, and
Yeah.
so we were constantly
Don't
talking
even
behind
ask.
the scenes.
We will hunt you down.
Uh-huh.
Don't even
Yeah,
ask.
don't ask. You saw us in some very real seasons.
Mhm.
What did you notice about how me and your mom worked together?
I think a big thing was seeing how committed you two were to making it work because obviously you have very different personalities.
Mhm.
And I don't think either of you, besides you working with your sister, had
Mhm.
worked with a business partner so
Yeah.
closely. And
Mhm.
so that is definitely, I can't imagine how hard it was. And so seeing you guys work through those seasons and just being so committed to growing,
Mm.
internally and just individually was super admirable, and that was always a
Mm.
big thing of just preaching, like, you guys wanna grow and you want each of us to grow underneath of
Mhm.
you and to just continue to get better year by year.
That's
Mm.
awesome. It's cool to listen to that,
It
isn't it?
is. Yeah, it really is.
It is true. When you have different personalities, and I am so thankful because I've gotten this question, I don't know about you, but I've gotten this question many, many times
I just talked
since.
about it with somebody
Did you?
yesterday. Yeah.
People ask me, they say,
Mhm.
What is your perspective on having a business
Mhm.
partner? What are some things that you would, maybe some advice you would give?
Mhm.
And I think the biggest piece of advice I give, and I'll let you speak to it, but one of the things is just the fact that, um, and I'll break it down even further. I was gonna say having the same goals and having the same
Mhm.
worldview
Yeah.
is super helpful,
Mhm.
because we're very aligned.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But I would say even deeper into that, something is one thing I love about you is how generous you are.
Mm.
So one of the things that we wanted to do later on, as we could, is
Mhm.
to give back, to say yes whenever we're
Mhm.
able to give back. Um, and we, from the very beginning, were very aligned on that. So
Yeah.
if you call me and you're like, "Hey, I wanna feed the kids at Alma,"
Mhm.
then I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, do that."
Yes, for
Or
sure.
if I called and said, "Hey, I wanna give to a ministry at church,"
Mhm.
yes, absolutely do that. That's just never been a point of contention,
No. No.
and I guess where I've never really thought about that until recently and appreciated that is not only if you're generous together does it allow you to be generous to the community,
Mhm.
but it also helps the decisions that you make internally. For instance, if we want to give someone a bonus or a
Yeah.
raise or
Mhm.
anything like that, we're just very aligned, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
No, I agree. And one thing in the conversation I had yesterday that we were talking about is like you said, our goals have always been the same. Our vision for the
Mhm,
company has
mhm,
always been the same. But what I was telling this person was what I love is that our paths are different.
mm,
We see things differently. We have different ideas. And one thing I told this person was that's the best part is we both
that's
like
true.
I'll sit down and go, I think we should do it this way. And you'll sit down and be like, I see that. What about this? And then we basically merge the 2
Yeah.
together, and it's like that was genius, or that I'm so
Mhm,
thankful that we could see different perspectives and things like that, and it's made to me, it's what's made all the difference and why it's been such a great partnership, and
mhm,
what started that was talking about, like, partnerships don't work, and I was like, "I disagree, I think
Yeah.
they do,
Yeah.
I think they work really well," but it's having the same vision, having the same
mhm,
goals, and I think one of the things that we always say, and I know you've heard us say it too, is that we always assume positive intent
mhm,
and
Yeah.
that love thinks the best, and so we know without a shadow of a doubt that we will always have each other's backs and we'll have
mhm,
everybody's backs. And so it's like, hey, if we've got to talk through something or if we don't agree on something, it's not because it's not for an imbalance of power or anything like that, but it's because, hey, I think I see something differently.
mhm.
Let's look at this. Let's kind of, push through
Yeah,
this.
and
And
you guys have always
So
both
true.
been so intent and just in every room that you walk in saying, whether it's to like our office staff or to all the agents, is you want the feedback and you want to know how you
Mhm.
can be better. And there's never been a time, even if it's an awkward conversation or something like that, that you guys get upset. It is
Yeah.
just you see the positive intent, and I think that goes a long
Wow,
ways.
thank you,
Oh, thank
Jordan.
you.
I didn't fish for that compliment, but I will
Oh.
take it. I will say, I think that a quote I heard to wrap that part up is unity, which is honestly
Mhm.
what you need in
Mhm.
a partnership,
Yeah.
but also in a positive culture, a healthy culture. Unity is important, but unity does not equal sameness.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
man, I loved that quote because I
Mhm.
Yeah.
thought, oh, that's so true. Because your mom and I we're so strong together in our differences. But
Mhm.
then when you really said, okay, I want to be here too, the strength that you brought was
Mhm.
so incredible. I'll brag on Jordan for something I think that we identified early on was your ability to structure, to
Mhm.
really make sure that we are seeing the big picture. And you were able to quickly help us create a machine
Yeah.
that is Heritage Group because we knew our heart, we knew the direction, we knew the pieces, and we all had great ideas. And Jordan has always been really good at helping us implement them.
Mhm.
And I would say another thing that is a really big strength of yours is efficiency. which is key to a business,
Mhm.
especially real estate. You're going a million different
Mhm.
directions. And if you're not efficient, you go to
Yeah.
bed and you're like, what did I do today?
Yeah, this business can run you for
Mhm.
Mhm.
sure. And if you're not, if, and even you've been so good and so gracious to us, you've given us so much grace, even if we've gotten off track. But
Mhm.
we've been so thankful when you've walked in, like, hey, heads up, you've missed this, or you're behind on something. It was like, oh, yes, thank you so much.
Mhm.
And, um, but still, but still allowed us, because sometimes things do get in the way, but it's like, hey, on the goal today was, these things, just a reminder, just don't want you to forget. And that takes a specific
It
personality,
does, yes.
because really it could be looked at, and somebody could get really frustrated and just annoyed, like, there it goes again, the schedule's out the window, or these things. And you were always so gracious to see
Mhm.
what we were taking care of in that moment, or see who came in the room, and why things got off track. But you were still so good to help us stay on track, the things that still needed to get done through the day and stuff. And that's such a value, because we never felt like we're letting you down, but you were like, hey, I see what you're doing, I see the vision of the company, and I want to help,
Yeah,
just help us stay
absolutely.
there. And
Absolutely. And I would say to all of the business owners out there, if you're just getting started, don't feel threatened by personalities that come in that do
yeah.
things better than you. Embrace that. Embrace
Yes.
that and run with that, because it is
Mm-hmm.
very hard to find. And when you
Yeah.
find those people that come alongside and make you better by bringing things to the table that you don't already possess, if you can have the confidence enough to keep that person
Mm-hmm.
around, pay them well, you
Yes.
know,
It's the
and
truth.
try to
Yeah.
keep them.
Yeah.
Segment 2, we're going into segment 2,
Okay.
wearing a lot of hats. You've always been extremely organized. We've talked about that
Mhm.
already a lot. Systems, details, follow through. Where does that come from?
I think the main thing is I'm the oldest of 5 kids,
Yeah.
and by a lot. So my sibling that's right under me, we have a 6-year age
Mhm.
difference, and so it
That's
goes,
true.
yeah, 6 years, 7 years, 9 years, and then 17 years, because Silas was quite the surprise.
Yep,
But in
yep,
that role is I was the second mom, and I
yeah.
wanted to be. There was often
Mhm.
times where my mom had to remind me, like, "Hey, these are my kids. You can parent your own kids when you have them, but you don't
Yes.
get to do and make all the choices." And so, I always wanted to do more
Mhm.
than I was even allowed to do, and so
Mhm.
I enjoy putting systems in place and
Mhm.
finding the solutions and things like that. But yeah, a lot of it is have a very
The oldest
motherly
daughter.
intuition.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's a
From
great
day one.
place to be. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
also an oldest daughter.
Yes, I know
And
we all 3 are oldest
Same.
we are,
daughters.
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You are too, sis.
Yeah. I reminded my parents that on Thanksgiving. I was like, if you would let me run this,
Yeah,
I'm
Then it
just,
would be
exactly.
great if
yeah.
you would just let me
If
run
you would
this.
let me be in
Yeah.
charge right now, I could handle all of this. What? So, this is, be honest. Okay. What was the hardest part of working so closely with us?
I think the hardest is, 1, I was so young, and so being 18, I have a very strong personality,
Mhm.
and there was a lot of candid conversations, like, with Erica and you, of just finding where your seat is in that room, and, like,
Mhm.
there are because I was young, it took a lot of years to get into a leadership role, even though
Mhm.
I wanted to be in it, or, it felt like a good step there. I had to pay my dues for sure.
Mm.
Mhm. That's true, and I remember that season of my life too, and I think that it helped me knowing a little bit about how you probably felt,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it's not that you weren't qualified many times.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's what's hard as a certain age, you are qualified.
Yeah.
You walked into a room and you did possess a lot of talent that
Mhm.
that myself, even after years, didn't have those certain talents. But we've had many conversations about making sure that Jordyn is set up to, and all of our kids
Mhm.
are set up to be able to walk into a room and have great respect because
Yeah.
of the tenure that they put in.
Mhm.
And it's so cool to have watched Jordyn now in 6 years to have the respect when she walks into a room. And we were just very intentional. And you never asked. You never asked to be given anything.
Yeah.
No.
And that helped us, me, especially since I'm not your
Mhm.
mom, it helped me to respect you because
Mhm.
you were very cognizant of making sure that you earned that as well.
Yeah.
And yes, we did have conversations,
Mhm.
Right.
but it to me, it was so refreshing the way that you took that feedback,
Mhm.
and I'm so glad that you weathered all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
so glad.
so much
Mhm.
of that though is the atmosphere that you guys created is like I didn't care what position I was in. I just
Mm.
wanted to be a part of this
Mhm.
company and to be around you guys because I love you so much. But it is
Aw.
just the foundation that you set. Like I was like, okay, no, this is what I want for a career and this
Mhm.
is what I
Mhm.
want to do. So no matter how long it takes, like I'm in it for the long haul.
Oh,
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
one thing about Jordan too, if you
Oh
could just
man.
pan in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
she
crier.
is
Yeah.
very sentimental,
Yeah.
and oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite things about you.
I know.
You're an oldest daughter, but you love deeply,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah.
one of your biggest strengths, and I
Yeah.
love that about you. That's so awesome.
Oh,
I love it. I love it. I love it. It is very sweet to be in this position now and be able
it
to see
is.
how
It's
far.
yeah, it's bittersweet.
Mhm.
It's
Let's go through what she did. Okay, so
Yeah.
first you answered phones,
Yeah, before that, I just did like behind the scenes content. That was my
correct?
first business
Yeah.
card was
Yes.
just content
That's
creator.
right.
Okay, well, that's all I did.
The way that aches you right
Oh
now,
my
bro.
God, it makes me want to like. I don't even include that on a resume, guys. Like that, we skipped that one because
I don't
that.
know why.
Oh
my
man,
word.
that was
gosh.
my least favorite, but
That's
I
so
did it.
funny.
That was what y'all needed, and I was like, okay, I
My
can
girls
do
are
it.
in the studio right now. Did y'all hear that? Miss Jordan
Yes.
started
But behind the
with
scenes,
behind the scenes. Shiloh
Do you
be
re-
getting that behind
Yeah.
the scenes. Okay?
You know, thinking about that, like just how, because there were times like one of us would be out of the office or something, or we were still at the beginning, we were kind of dividing up and still putting systems in place for our children and things like that. Do you remember the time that Erica said something like, "Can you get an eye on this?" or something? And we straight up sent you a picture of Jordan's eyeball.
I don't
forgot
remember
about
that. That's so funny.
Y'all did tease me so much
Yes,
with the marketing.
100%.
But you did
We
do it
did,
well.
yeah.
If you here's the thing about it. If you want to do it, you're going to do it, and you're going to do it
Yes.
the
Mhm.
best.
No,
Yeah.
that's
So you
I
did
do.
do an amazing job.
I put
And
in
for
all
a
the effort.
while, I was like, Justine would be like, "You want me to get that?" And I'd be like, "Oh, that's okay." I'm like, Jordan, will you?
Yeah.
Which is very
This video,
valid.
Jordan, because she's gonna
Very,
be up on
very
like a
valid.
ladder
Yeah,
getting it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you went to
Yeah, answering the phones,
Answering the
and
phones.
then
Mhm.
more like an assistant position for both of
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
It just
Mhm.
really was making it a goal to take things off your plate
Mhm.
even before you guys came up with it, or to just,
Mhm.
do whatever needed to be
Anticipate.
done that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Just
the
keep
worst part
Mhm.
about Jordan's growth in leadership is we really miss her right next to us.
It is, yes,
Yeah,
that's
that
true.
is the
We
yeah,
couldn't withhold, and we knew that.
right.
But you're right. It did
Mhm.
leave it,
Yeah.
and honestly, I say that she's still doing that, and she doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, thank God
She's still doing
too.
that.
Yeah.
Then you went to really more of an office management
Mhm.
position.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I handled like our compliance though. Handled our transactions and really helped step in alongside of
Yeah.
each agent to make sure that their needs were met and
Yep.
just in that agent concierge
Mhm.
you really
position and
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
it turned into like seeing their needs and fulfilling those as much as we could to
Yeah.
help build that atmosphere of growth and things within the
And
company.
that really speaks to your quick understanding of real estate and contracts
Mhm.
and just how quickly you dove in and just soaked up so much as quickly as possible. Somebody as early on as you were in the industry, that would be nearly impossible to do. And
Mhm.
that, I mean, to me, that's actually your instructor stopped me yesterday and just stopped me in mid conversation just to say that I just want you to know your daughter's brilliant and incredible. And just, she's like her knowledge base of this industry. And I was like, I know. And then I said, you can't have her either. So no, but yes, it does. That is something that, to really grasp. I mean, how long have you had your real estate license?
I've had my license for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's huge.
And it
Huge,
feels like
huge.
it's longer because I remember
does.
you wore out the
Mhm.
path between the front desk to your mom's room.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I loved about you is if you didn't know, you would just go ask. You would find
Mhm.
someone that knew and you would ask. And that's so important in any season of life. And you tell that a lot to our
Mhm.
brokers and our agents. If you don't know,
Yeah.
that's okay. Just
Mhm.
come and ask. That's the strength of a brokerage. That's the
Yes.
strength of having a
Yes.
principal
That's
broker.
so true.
Um, what did those early roles teach you that you still rely on today?
Really just setting the foundation is like so oftentimes people's first anytime the first thing that they're around in real estate is when they take the class to get their license and
True.
Mhm.
True.
I have the upper hand. Like there's oftentimes someone's like, did you like when did you know this or when did you know this? And I was like, I knew this just by sitting and listening. And that was
Mm.
just not even by my mom, but by Brandon, like all the agents that were in the office taking phone calls or talking through deals. And like, I just made it a priority. Like, I was going to listen and understand each of their transactions and just get as much knowledge as possible so that if it did come up, I had already heard
Yeah.
what happened or what needed to happen and
Do
things
you
like that.
That's so
remember
good.
texting me in your real estate class saying that your instructor said, "Does anybody else other than Jordyn know the answers?"
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yes.
That's so funny. And I think that's important to bring up too for any of you who are new to real estate or thinking about real estate. Sometimes you can really feel like the momentum is not there in the beginning.
Yeah.
And we have different things that we put in place for our agents and training and just where to go right after you get your license. But I think it's important to remember that there's so much that you cannot gain unless you're listening to experienced agents.
It's very true.
And so get in the office wherever you are at, whatever brokerage that you're at. I would say make a point to go into the office and just be and listen to the conversations that are
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah.
It will be invaluable for sure.
I agree. That and like the realtor open houses and all
Yeah.
of those things to go and to listen or to attend the membership meetings and all of those things. The more you can be in the room with other real estate agents and hear, and it really does help you truly understand at least enough that when you're with a client, you're like, I've heard this conversation before.
Yeah.
I know enough to know who to ask somebody or yeah.
And what questions to ask.
Yeah.
That's really good.
No, one thing, like when I took my pre-license, the instructor said, like, I'm not teaching this class to teach you how to do real estate. I'm teaching you to pass the test. And I think that's what so many people don't understand is
It's
like
true.
what's in the book is not what you do day to day by
Right.
any means.
That's really
Right.
good. And that can be a shock if you didn't
Yeah,
know it, you know?
exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's
It's
a lot of
terrifying, yeah.
information.
When they realize they
Yes.
don't need to know meets and bounds
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
daily and all of that kind of stuff, you're like, you mean I don't have to remember this? You're like,
Yeah.
nope.
Sure
Let's
don't.
teach you real estate now.
You sure don't. Okay, becoming an agent. So we've talked about your journey to becoming an
Yes.
agent. Now let's talk about what made you decide to get licensed. I feel like we've kind of answered this question, but obviously we didn't run you off. So
Yeah.
what was the moment where you're like, I think I'm going there. I'm going to be an agent.
It was just kind of like the obvious next step. I will say, like, I got my license at 22. And so something to remember is like, even though I had been in the business for several years, my sphere was still really young. And it honestly still is. Like, and there's not a lot of, I'm 24 now, 24-year-olds that own a house or like, or even getting married. Like Tanner and I got married super young. I was 19. And so we kind of skipped a lot of the steps, like, and did it quickly. But with getting my license, I still had to like be reminded and remember like I've had a slow growth on like
Sure.
selling and volume and things like that because there wasn't a lot of people that I'm around that are buying houses, and not a lot of people want a 22-year-old to be their agent. No matter how much education and knowledge I do have, the age still plays a big part
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that will that our audience this will kind of show how much knowledge you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you really, really do. And I think that even at my age, when I was your age, even at 18, I had been in a home where my dad was a
Right.
builder my entire life. We went to the job sites. We swept the job sites out. My first job was being in his office. And you were very similar. You
Yeah.
were around building
Right.
your entire life.
Yeah.
And so that really plays a big part into, I think, you being ready for even
Yes.
that season
Yeah.
was you knew the process.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
many people your age don't quite know the process. So I think even there's in some ways you are a little bit more experienced
Yeah.
than
Agreed.
many people
Yeah.
who have
Yeah.
been in real
Yeah,
estate.
and not only that, you were answering, well, I'd be driving, you'd be
Yeah.
responding to texts, hey, say this, type this
Yep.
this way, read this for me, tell me what this says,
Yep.
all of those things.
Since
So
she was little.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it has been in front of you for so long,
No,
and
it
and
definitely
you
has.
really did just soak it in, and
And I will
Yeah.
say to our audience, remember that young real estate agents are hungry.
Yes. No,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
sure.
They're hungry. They want to get out there. They want and matter of fact, this teased me up. You had a listing recently in Van Buren.
Yeah.
And it had been listed a couple different times, I believe, and set on the market. And
Yeah. For over 6 months.
for over 6 months. And you got it listed or it's listed and then you sold it in how many
Yeah.
days?
Under contract in 22 days.
That's huge.
Yes. And I will
And
say, Joe, shout out to Joe, was a big part in that. Like,
Yeah.
having, like, a great marketing team, and that's what
Mhm.
Erica's always pushed is,
Yeah.
like, that needs to be the forefront, and it makes
Mhm.
such a difference. That was one of like, the seller was extremely happy with that,
Good.
and, like,
Yeah.
that was one of the
Yeah.
things that he said is, like, the immediate push as soon as we signed the listing docs is Joe was out there within 48 hours, and it was listed and
Mhm.
on the market, and the video roll out and all of that. It makes a big difference
Good.
to people.
You know, I'm glad that you brought that up because one thing that I almost forgot that you did and you did so well is not only did you soak up, you know, your knowledge and things like
Mhm.
that, but you learned really quickly when we started and by watching the company to invest back into your
Yeah.
business and to invest into your clients.
Yeah.
And so I even remember when we a lot of times would do little like here's $100 cash
Mhm.
because you did the challenge for the
Yeah.
month before, and instead of just putting that money in your pocket, you would walk in and go, now I want open house signs,
Yeah.
Mhm.
now I want
That's true.
postcards, now
Mhm.
I want this. And so you really did make it a point to, okay, now I've got these, I'm sending
Mhm.
them out and I'm doing this stuff. And like you said, it's about investing. It's one, you know, there's a lot of things that Heritage Group offers in-house, but it's still the marketing for the listing side,
Yeah.
you know, that's on the agent
No, for
to
sure.
make that
Yeah.
decision and to be willing to invest back into
Mhm.
their client. And you saw the value in that really
Yeah.
quickly and made it a point to do that.
No, and I will say, like, for young agents, something that I did is,
Mhm.
when you're buying things for your clients or sending Christmas cards,
Mhm.
it's easy to do that when you, like, have a list of, like, these are all my closings, and so all of these people are gonna get a gift card or things like that. I had to be strategic and be like, they might not buy a house this year or in the next 2 years, but they are part of my sphere now,
That's good.
and
Yeah.
so starting to, like, do those touch points even before those
That's
people were
really
looking
good.
for houses or
Mhm.
ready, just staying top of mind from then, it's starting now to pay off.
That's so smart.
That's really, really good.
Mhm.
I love that, Jordan. Okay, segment 3, becoming an agent.
Mhm.
And we've already talked about what
Yeah.
made you to
Mhm.
decide to get
Mhm.
licensed. Um, you want to ask her?
What do you think stretched you in that season? What stretched you personally?
It really was just being one of the youngest, not even within our office, but
Mhm.
just in the area. Like,
Mhm.
there's not a
Mhm.
lot of people that get their real estate license at 22. And so just really diving deep and like pouring in at whether it's at the board office or
Mhm.
within our company and just laying the foundation. And so that took and it's hard. It's
Mhm.
hard because
Mm.
getting your real estate license, it takes a lot of money up front.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so really pouring in and, like, knowing, like, I'm gonna write this check and I might not see it pay off,
Mm.
but I'm gonna continue to go to our trainings, and even though I've been hearing it for several years before, it was my time to implement it and to
Mhm.
That's
really
good.
listen to you guys and do the little things like the note cards or the post-closing touch points or anything like that, and just as much as I hated it, like,
Yes.
posting on your social media or
Yes.
things
Yes.
like, that is where that stretched me, is, like, I
Mhm.
had sat on the side of the table where I was like, "God, come on, guys, let's do it. Yeah, do it, agents,"
Yeah.
and then when it was my turn, I was like, "Oh, this is not as easy as it
True.
looks by any
Mhm.
means."
And shout out to Tanner too. Hopefully I get
Yes.
points for this,
Yeah.
but shout out to Tanner because I
Yeah.
will say, especially when you're first married,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
were money's not just
Right.
it's not
Growing on
there
trees,
as much.
yeah.
And so and you guys both you've worked really hard. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I know though how it is when
Yeah.
you're trying to, you have no credit.
Right.
You're trying to make sure that you can get a house. You're making
Mhm.
all these moves. Tanner's in the military.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of sacrifice in the
No,
beginning.
absolutely.
And you didn't have your husband right
Mhm.
beside you all of the
Yeah.
time. And so what I've loved to see is the way that you guys support each other early on.
Mhm.
There's so many husbands we've seen that it's a little harder for them to understand that and
Yeah.
part of investing back in
Mhm.
and
No,
not seeing that money
absolutely.
right away.
Yes.
And so I would say, even from a marriage standpoint, if you're in real estate and you work really hard, if your spouse, we see this a lot. If your spouse really supports you
Mhm.
in that
Mhm.
growth,
Yeah.
it comes.
No,
It's
it
a
does,
game
and
changer.
absolutely not
Mhm.
just financially, but the amount of time. Because, like we
Mm,
say, like, real estate's not 9 to 5.
yep.
You're
No.
working
Yeah.
with people who have a 9 to 5, and so
Mhm.
once they get off work, that's a lot of times when your
It's go
phone starts
time.
blowing up or when
Mhm.
they wanna see things and it's on the weekends and things like that, and even on the real estate side, but within the company, like,
Mhm.
I enjoyed working with you guys so much, and it was I wanted to be there as much as possible, to
Mhm.
learn as much as possible,
Mhm.
so I worked long hours, and I
You
stayed
did.
past when I was supposed to
Yeah.
be there, and so, like, having him really back me and
Yeah.
understand that, like, I
Yeah.
was doing it for the like, the
Mhm.
good of the long run
Yep.
and things like that helped so
Yeah.
much.
We love you, Tanner.
Yes, you're the
Yes, for
best.
sure. Yes.
And you're welcome. I'm
I'm
just kidding. No, I'm really proud of you guys for that. And honestly, we loved having you too. It
Yeah.
felt when you weren't there, it was just sad.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know that's the hardest thing with having Brecken is,
Yeah,
like, taking
true.
that time back and, like, being at home, like, I missed
Yeah.
y'all, and there would be times that her and I would just come sit and talk because I was like,
Yep.
"I
Yeah.
miss y'all, I miss
Yeah.
talking and all the things."
We want to know what's going on.
Mhm.
How do you think that season changed? And you've kind of answered this, but how do you think it changed the way you show up today?
I think that it really one, being so young and the personality I have, like,
Mhm.
you guys helped just mold me, but just you guys were super patient with me and, like, 'cause you wanted me to grow as a person
Mhm.
and in leadership, and so being in that position and, like, one, even having my license and not having like, selling a ton at the time, like, it allowed me to really practice the pause and, like, think about, like,
Mm.
laying that foundation, and
Good.
so I was super thankful that you guys did everything you could to give me the tools that I needed to do that, and I don't think that I would have gotten
They're
my
gonna think we
broker's
paid her.
I know.
I
Listen,
don't think I would be
We
in the position
appreciate
to,
it.
like, get my broker's license when I did or anything like
Mhm.
that if
Yeah.
you guys didn't encourage me and things like that.
Good. It's been so easy to do that,
yeah,
first of
Mhm.
for
all.
sure.
What did working with clients as an agent
Mhm.
teach you that you couldn't have learned in those roles in the office?
Yeah, it's real estate's not just sales, and that's the heart that
Mm.
you guys have is, like,
Mm.
it's client first and people
Yeah.
first,
Mhm.
and so one thing that my mom you've said over and over again is, like, even when you have 10 listings and you can't be frustrated, like, when a client's calling you because you're thinking about 10, but they're only thinking about their
Mm.
house,
Yeah.
like, that's
That's so
they're
true.
going to sleep thinking about it, waking up thinking about it,
Mhm.
where if you're juggling multiple, it's easy for it to go on the back burner, even if you're not trying to, but, like,
Mhm.
just remembering that this is a lot of times like someone's biggest financial step is
Yeah.
purchasing or
Mhm.
selling a home.
Mhm.
And so we care about the emotions and it isn't a very emotional process
Mhm.
for a lot of
Mhm.
people. And just even as an agent, it is like that roller
Mhm.
coaster. But just really, it taught me that it's not just about the paperwork because I love the paperwork.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
Me
know that's
too.
like
Me
what a lot of
too.
people
Yes.
Yeah.
hate, but I
Yes.
love that part. I liked the systems, I like the files, and I like making sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But that's the least important part. And the most
Mhm.
important part is the people.
Yeah.
That's good, Jordan.
Mhm.
And honestly, I will say, I think that's one of my favorite things, though, about you, Justina, is you are a master negotiator
Mm-hmm.
and you do not allow emotions to really cloud your judgment.
Yeah.
And so when you've got that, it's hard when it's your
Mm-hmm.
house. But you are so good in those situations. And the awesome thing is you've created a mini version of that. That's not so mini anymore, sister. But
Yeah.
okay, let's talk about leadership and growth. When you think about leadership now, what does that really mean to you?
Leadership is about making sure like what you talked about at the beginning of like unity
Mhm,
and like
mhm,
HG has grown so much and so quickly and
mhm,
like we've been in so many seasons of growth that
mhm,
you guys taking the time to be like okay let's pause and like where are we on a leadership standpoint
Mhm.
of like pouring back into people
mm,
and that to me is the most important part is like it's not about the numbers, it's not about the sales, it's as much as it is our clients, it's about our agents and you guys
Yeah.
do
mhm,
such a good job of making sure that you're present with everybody and no matter what season of life they're in. And something that you guys were talking about the other day is it's you guys want to be there for agents whether they're in a season of selling or in a
mhm,
season of where they have to pull back. And
mm,
that's something that I because I was so young and just my personality that it took a lot of you guys reminding me, but I feel like it's finally clicked is like we want to meet people where they're at
mhm.
any point of their
Yeah.
lives.
It's so crazy to listen to.
I know.
Like, we actually taught some things.
Oh,
My
no,
gosh,
I'm so
let's
excited. I know, I
go.
know. So one thing that we haven't, I
Mhm,
don't think we've even mentioned right now on this episode is that you have stepped into a
yeah,
very large leadership role
Mm-hmm.
with Heritage Group. You are our Van Buren branch office manager and
Yeah.
the executive broker of that office. So
Yeah.
you oversee several agents. You
Mm-hmm.
run that office. You make sure that everything's taken care of there. And which is we're so excited for you.
absolutely.
You well deserved, very well
Thank
deserved.
you.
And but what kind of leader do you hope to be for the Van Buren office?
No, my goal is what we've seen is people come to HG because of you guys. Like, you are the heart behind it and all of that. Like, yes, our marketing or things like that, but you guys are why people stay and why we have such good retention. And so my goal is to just replicate what you have at the Fort Smith office at Van Buren, is like really focused on that people and that family atmosphere. That's a lot of the feedback we've gotten from agents that have gone to that office or moved, is like they want it to be identical to Fort Smith or things like that. And so just really making sure that I'm present and doing the things that you guys do at Fort Smith at Van Buren.
Well,
I love that.
I think it's going to be even better. I really do. And just to elaborate on your announcement, Van Buren,
Yes.
we have an incredible, when we started the journey of Crawford County and Van Buren opening that office, the incredible Ashley Love
Yes.
was the broker, and she is still an agent with us.
Yeah.
And so you guys who are listening to this and you're thinking, well, what about
happened?
Ashley?
Yes.
She came to us a couple of months ago and said, hey, I'm going to be working with my husband, which that's the one person we really can't compete with, to be honest.
Yep.
We're not gonna hold it
Right.
over you, John. But she's going to work with him, and then we've loved getting to be more present there. But then we thought, okay, well then who are we going to put there? Since and like I said, Ashley's still an agent, top producing agent, but didn't have the time to be a full-time broker there.
Right.
And so we went to our leadership, and Jordyn was the one that stepped to the plate and said, you were very pregnant at the time, though.
I was very pregnant. And I had gotten my broker's license at the beginning of this year and taken my classes, but it wasn't to step into that role. It was, hey, I want to do this just so that if anything comes up, I'm
Ready
in a
to go.
position to go for it and things like that. I definitely didn't think it would happen as
So
soon
quick.
as it did. It really caught me off guard, but you guys were great and worked with the fact that I was pregnant and you know, a new mom and things like that, and definitely not as full-time as I would like to be, but we're getting there slowly but surely.
We're getting there. We'll probably do a ribbon cutting at the
Yes,
first
yeah.
of the
Yeah.
year. You'll see Jordyn at the office and around. And if you're looking,
Yes,
an
definitely. Come
incredible
hang your
broker.
license at our Van Buren office.
I love it.
if you if we're talking to our audience and someone's listening and thinking, I want to grow somewhere long term, what would you want them to know about being a part of the Van Buren office?
Yeah. I would want them to know that we are dedicated to your growth in this career. Like, there's not one agent, even if they've been here since the very beginning, that we don't meet with consistently anymore or just constantly push them to grow or help them when they come to us and are like, hey, this is what I want to accomplish this year. You guys are great about dropping everything and saying, okay, how are we going to get there, and help you get there. And that's our heart, whether you've been in, like, you're a new agent and newly licensed, or if you're been in the business 10, 12 years and you're like, hey, I've hit that wall and I want to level up. Like, we want to do whatever we can for you to see that growth.
That's awesome. One thing while I'm listening to Jordyn, you know, you hear the word we, you hear us. That's so intentional, I feel like, in culture of Heritage Group. And it's really cool to listen to that, Jordyn, because I think that is one of the strengths that is a biblical principle to us, is that, you know, it's not even our own talent that we're stewarding here. So it's easy to say, okay, Lord, help us, guide us. But also with our team, it's never just been me or Justina or us. It's been our entire team that's really been our strength. And so I love the fact that that is mirrored in you, and that you understand that, and obviously understand it to the point that you're putting into practice. So that's really cool. All right, let's talk about your mother-daughter dynamic. And we're kind of getting close to the end here, but don't feel rushed, because I think this is the most fun and probably what our audience is the most curious about, to be honest, is what is it like to work with your mom?
No, you can speak honestly.
No, I definitely enjoyed it, or I wouldn't have done it for as long as I've done it. But it really was just finding our footing. I think that it took a little bit at the beginning for sure, and now we're best friends, and we have been, but just getting in that thing. My husband jokes, like, because we talk to each other on the phone, my mom and I, on the ride to work,
Yeah.
at work, on the ride home from work, when we're at home. My husband's like,
That's so
what on
awesome.
earth do you guys have to talk about?
Yeah.
Like,
So
what
much, Tanner.
in the
So
world
much to
is
talk
going
about.
on? Like, you were
Yeah.
together all day long.
Something happened. We need to
Yes,
recap.
exactly.
It's like, I call it a like, and that's you and I too. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to recap.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
But the men don't care
No,
anyway. They don't listen to it.
exactly. That's even when Tanner was on deployment and we would be at our separate houses because neither one of us want to drive to each other, even though we live 10 minutes away. We'd be on the phone for like 5-6 hours.
Yes.
Like we do everything together, all the
Yeah.
things.
Well,
But
and even though we're together, sometimes we're in different rooms.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah,
there's a lot to
exactly.
talk
No,
about
for
and
sure.
things. Yeah.
I love that.
But it really was like it took a little bit for us to find the where we draw the line of like
Yeah.
what is part of business
Mhm.
and what is just us. And so like
Yeah.
we laugh about it, but there was a day that things were a little tense in the office and she's like, "Do you want to go to lunch?" And I was like, No, I don't.
She did.
I need to go to lunch alone
That was
today.
so funny.
And
I was
so
like,
I
got
did,
it,
except then we
noted.
had dinner together. And
Yes,
so
we
that's
did.
fine. That's
Yeah.
not
Just need a little
work.
break.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not work time. But like
Right.
it really is like we have learned and like really made it a priority to if we're arguing at work or if like things are tense and we're going through like time like where we're needing to like make changes or things like that, we do leave it at the office and I
Yes,
do
yeah.
appreciate
That's,
that.
that's
that has
good
been
feedback.
nice.
So you guys have the ability to just leave that at the
Yes.
office.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes with growth and with leadership and even and if you've been in any job at
Yeah.
any other place, there are things that the leaders do that you're like, that doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense to me. Or I don't
Yes.
see, or there's things that are going on behind the
Yeah.
scenes that you don't know. And so there were times where it was just like that. And I get it because
Yeah.
I could see, I was like, I get why you weren't the only person in those positions that were like, I'm not understanding,
Yeah.
but you were always so good about like, you still kept that respect and we valued our relationship too much
Yes.
to
Right.
let something like that. So it was like, hey, you're not going to see it. You will see it, but also you're not privy to know
Yeah.
all of these things right
Yeah.
now and all of that
No.
stuff. And so we were really good about keeping like, hey, like you and I, even in our partnership, our relationship with each other
Right.
means so much more than the
Absolutely.
positions and
Yeah.
the business and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
No.
And it's almost like a physical hat you take off. And
No,
put
Yes,
on
absolutely.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And just like making a conscious decision. Like there are times like obviously that I see her and I'm around my mom more. But if it's a conversation that I need to have with you guys together, like we do press pause and like wait until we're
Yeah.
together as a team just so that
I've
Yeah.
always
we keep it
appreciated
business.
that. I've always appreciated the fact, Jordyn, that you've made it a point to have, even there's been conversations you and I've had
Yeah.
without your
Mhm.
mom.
Mhm.
You are just you're a professional,
Thank you.
and it is hard to walk in at 18 and just for to be expected to download all of that so quickly. But you have really got in there and learned all of the things. And I do think it's a special thing because you are able to then mentor
Yeah.
and from a different perspective, which
No,
is really
absolutely.
cool.
No, and I think that it makes it a lot easier because we have those personal relationships that if like an agent comes to me or like are upset, it's a lot easier for me to share your guys' heart behind things because I know it. And it's not
That's
just you
good.
guys have never been ones that you implement something or just like deal with it. You
Yeah.
guys make it a point to like say this is the why and this is why we've done that. And that was hard, especially from the beginning. With me, is like I'm super analytical and like detail, and just when you guys would stop and be like, "This is why we're doing this for the long term growth," or things like
Yeah.
that. That
Yeah.
helps so much because
Yeah.
you could have just said like, "I'm the boss and that's why I said so." That that whole thing like when you tell your kid no because mom said, you guys never have done that, and it makes such a difference. I think with like
Yeah.
all of the agents at
And
HG.
I think with your personality too, the results driven and just
Yeah.
the way that this industry is portrayed, when you're really diving in and like, what do I need to know about
Right.
real estate? It really is results driven. And so
Yeah.
it is a mindset shift of it's people driven.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's where's the agent at right now?
Yeah.
What are they walking through? So this is what we're going to focus on.
Right.
And even one thing I've loved is, and we talked about this not too long ago, is to watch you over the last several months of you may have been right in saying something or bringing something to our attention, and you did bring it, but you said, "But I think we should handle it this way
Mm.
to preserve the person
Mhm.
and preserve the relationship." And for us, it was like, yeah, like
Yeah.
just loved that so much because
Absolutely.
that's always going to be our heart,
Yeah.
with anything. Like we want to love the person first
Right.
before anything else, and that I think that's hard for any young person
Absolutely.
Yeah.
is and to for on the other side, you are our baby, so you're protective of us just
That's
like we're
Right, no,
protective of you
100%.
too, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and so to
wisdom.
take that step back and like, no,
Mhm.
I love them more than I love what's going on
Yeah.
right now,
That's
and
right.
yeah. Yeah.
And you can't you can't teach wisdom. Wisdom is
Mhm.
something that Heavenly Father gives us, and
Mhm.
that's another thing that I think that has helped us be so aligned is
Mhm.
you are so sensitive to the Holy Spirit and you're just
Yeah.
like, "Okay, Lord, yes, this
Mhm.
is,"
Yeah.
and you're able to see
Yeah.
to the heart.
Yeah,
I
for
love that.
sure.
Okay, we're gonna play a game. Wait, no, one more question.
Okay.
One more question, I almost missed it. And this is gonna be uncomfortable for you because,
That's fine.
it seems like every single which tells me you are an incredible leader, but every single question, it seems like you've tried to turn it around and talk about how amazing we are, which is very sweet. But I want to take a moment to ask you, what are you proud of when it comes to yourself? Are you proud of yourself for certain things or something? Looking back over the last few years, take a minute and just if you were talking to 18-year-old Jordyn
Mhm.
and you were giving her affirmations, what would you say to her?
I think a big one is I do have an extremely strong personality, and that was one thing that yes, it's good to be strong and it's good to, be efficient and to
Mhm.
be able to dominate a room or things like that.
Yeah.
It's learning how and when that's necessary and when it's
Mhm.
not. And that's something that you guys have given so many tools, not even yourselves, but like in implementing a business coach and things like that, that I've been so grateful for
Mm.
because it was something that yes, I'm good at it, but it is something I'm super self-conscious about. It's like I
Mm.
don't ever want to have that persona, even though that's
Mhm.
like naturally where I gravitate toward.
Mhm.
Like we talked about, I try to be very intentional and sentimental
Mhm.
and like really see
Yes.
that it's
Mhm.
just not my first reaction. Like my
Yeah.
first reaction
Mhm.
is just to tell it how it is. And so
Yes.
something that I'm proud of is like it's taken a long time, but I'm getting better and better of like
Mhm.
practicing that pause and just
Mhm.
learning how to navigate other personalities within the
Mhm.
office
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
just in the industry is like
Yeah.
something that I was telling Tanner about is like there are so many dominant personalities in real
Mhm.
estate.
Mm.
Lots of people are type A or like they enjoy being in real estate because they're independent contractors and they get to do
Mhm.
what they
Mhm.
want. It's like it you have to really stop and like think about what's best for your client or what's best
Mhm.
within the office, and that's something that worked really hard to be able to do, and
Mm.
like to see the good in everybody and to think like how to you know make it where there's not going to be any conflict and things like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
How does
that's
that feel
I
listening
love
to
it. And I get it because
Mhm.
this is such a this is an industry where you can when you're talking with another agent or something, or even if it's like you're the one party's not represented or
Yeah.
things like that, like you can sit back and you see it in a lot of different personalities where they're like, I'm about to run this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I love that heart of just like, even though I can
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I could easily, I'm not going
Yeah.
to, because
Mm.
I'm not going to do that to somebody.
No,
And
I was listening to a podcast and
Mm.
it's an owner who owns a very large
mhm,
brokerage within the US, and he was bragging and he was saying like I tell my clients like I don't work for you, I work for the deal. And it
mm,
like almost grieved me. Like I was like, "Oh my
mhm,
gosh, that's such a stark difference from what HG is about." Like that is
mhm,
never our heart. And I think that's what you see like why people get such a bad taste in their mouth of when
Mm.
they use an agent is
mhm,
that agent didn't work for them. They thought about the
yeah,
Mm.
money or the deal and
mhm,
things like that, and that's what our heart is, and like what we want to push is like we are there for you
Mm.
as
That's
the
good,
yeah,
client.
Jordan.
It's
yeah,
not about us.
yeah,
That integrity behind, and that's why
Mhm.
I say
mhm,
it's so important that we have the same worldview.
Yeah.
And
mhm,
that's one of the questions when we interview agents too.
Yes.
It's not so much, well, we want you to work here, you're
Top
it's
producer, yeah.
more it's
mhm,
more okay, these are our values.
Right.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
Do you align with that
Mhm.
Yeah,
No,
because
and
it's not
that's
even just the
value?
clients, it's
Yeah.
the other agents in the industry
Absolutely.
too. Like
Yeah.
even if you could, you still want to, they're still people
Yeah.
and they're still taking care of their families
Mhm.
and this is their livelihood as well. And you don't want to beat somebody down and you
No.
don't want to, I just want you to know I'm the smartest person in this
Yeah.
room or anything like that. You need so to be able to, for you to take a step back
Mhm.
and just be like, you know what,
Yeah.
that's the
That's
person
integrity.
and
And I'm
yeah.
so thankful that you guys have done that as a company. Like when we have our yearly awards, like
Mhm.
so many other companies only focus on the volume. And like for us, yes, we give volume awards, but the big thing that every agent looks forward to and like wants to win is our Big Five awards and like
Yeah.
to just our foundations. And that's what you
Mhm.
guys have put such a high, not expectation, but just value on. And like we value our agents that
Mhm.
do these things and that have good hearts and things like that. And I think that means so much.
I love
That's
it.
awesome. Man, I kind of want to watch this episode again. Just be thankful. Just have a heart of
I
gratitude for
know, I
where we're at
know.
right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Jordan, I
Mhm.
think that's where I really want to end the series part is thank you.
Mhm.
We love you so much.
I
Don't
love
cry.
you guys. Yeah.
I'm about to cry, so we can't. Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you because it's been the joy of our lives
Mhm.
to be able to have you beside us.
Mhm.
You've strengthened us. You've strengthened the agents.
Mhm.
We hear weekly how much value that you bring to this
Yeah.
team. And it's been very incredible. And I'm excited because it really, even like I said, my girls are in the room right now. It's so awesome for them to be able to see
Yeah.
this
Yeah, I
and to
agree.
recognize
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, this for us is and Lord don't let me cry. But it agreed, like
Mhm.
thank you for trusting us
Mhm.
because you've seen the good, the bad and the
Mhm.
ugly, and cuz just business is hard. Running a
Right.
business
Yeah.
is hard. Balancing
It's
it with the
vulnerable.
family.
It's
Yes.
vulnerable.
Yes, exactly. Balancing it with family is hard with you've watched the ins and outs and the struggles of, cuz one thing that Eric and I have said often is we have the personality like you two to just we could tune everything else
Yeah.
out and just focus on business and growth and all of those things. We
Yeah.
naturally are built that way and we love it. And so you've been patient with us in those moments and you've been really so I'm so thankful because even to have you next to me even like at the one of the meetings where I was like, so I'm just going to say this and this, and you just smiled and looked at me and you said, you could start by saying, hi guys, I'm so glad you're here. And it was,
Yeah.
but it was like, yep, you're right. Thank you so much. But that to me is thanks for sticking it out.
Yeah.
Thanks for still being with us and trusting us and you're making us grow too.
Yes,
Like we're
absolutely.
talking about how much you've grown, but I do want, and I know Erica agrees,
A
like you have
1,000,000,000%.
grown us in so many ways
Absolutely.
too.
Yep.
And I know the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
I'm so stinking excited. I love
Me
that.
too.
I love that you want to work with us.
Yeah.
We absolutely love having you. And
We
yeah,
do.
this is bittersweet. I'm so excited for this
Yeah.
podcast because I want to be like, look at
Look at
my baby Jordyn. Look at my baby girl. And I'm just so
know.
stinking proud of you. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
just I love this so much.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love to make a moment awkward. They love it too. No, that's how I feel. I feel like it's just been such a fun
Mhm.
lunches together,
Yeah.
dreaming together,
Yes. Yeah.
problem solving together, planning together. It's been
Yeah.
so much fun. Let's play a game. Okay. Okay, Jordan. I didn't give you these questions.
Yeah, I know,
Because I knew. I thought if I give Jordan the game
She
questions,
might not show
she's
up.
she's gonna sweat, and she's also just gonna. Yeah, you're not gonna be honest, so I have to
Okay.
tell you. Okay. So
These aren't trick questions.
these are not
Okay.
trick.
Yeah.
These are not trick questions. These are not trick questions. Okay. This is going to be a game called Who's Most Likely To, and you're
Okay.
going to tell us quickly if it's me or wrong.
Okay.
Forget a meeting, but still somehow handle everything.
Oh, I think that's both of you. There's definitely been times where I'm like, guys, are y'all coming back to the office? Because you have this, and this, and y'all are like, we're on our way.
I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you guys, that speaks to your partnership. You guys are able to go back and forth off each other so well. Thank God.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
read these questions. I didn't come up with these
Yeah.
questions. ChatGPT did. And so I was like, oh my gosh, does it know us? And it, yeah, it kind of does know us.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's
That's
you.
fair.
And you guys, it doesn't really stress you out as much as it stresses me out when something like that happens. Y'all are like, it'll be fine. Like, we're on our way. And like me, I'm like, oh my gosh,
It's
what's gonna
because
happen?
we fell on our face so many times that you
I
just
know.
get less afraid.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
very true.
Okay. Who's most likely to say, can you hop on a call real quick?
I would say you, because my
Mhm.
mom and I are always on the phone. Like, you're already there. We'll have to click over to talk to you.
That's
Like,
true.
hold on,
Yeah,
we'll add you in.
wait,
Yeah.
wait,
I
wait.
try so hard because we do spend so much time at the office, and y'all both know this. And I just want to say, I have grown in this way. It's taken me a long time, but my little brain just starts really working
Yeah.
late at night, and I'm just like, tick, 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 tick.
I know.
And
I have
then
to
I have to be
schedule
like,
a lot of texts with y'all.
Yeah.
And like,
Yes.
because her and I talk so much,
Yes.
I try not to bombard her about work. Like,
Mhm.
I'll even have to schedule like an email, or I'll be like, read this when you have, like, when you're working. Like, not right now. It's
Mhm.
okay.
To our
Yeah.
audience, did you know you can schedule text?
Yes.
On
and
your
emails.
iPhone.
And
Game
emails.
changer.
Jordyn has taught us so much.
Yes.
I actually
Yeah.
scheduled
Stop
one
texting
last night.
people at 11 p.m. Okay. About
It's true.
Yeah, just
'Cause you know
schedule it
what?
for
They
the next
can't-
day.
They
Yeah,
can't
they're
do
not-
anything
yeah,
about
they're
it.
not, and they're gonna forget by the
Yep.
next day
Yeah.
when they get to the office. Like, it's so much
Or
better.
we read it, we stay awake for the next
Right.
several hours thinking
Yes,
about
exactly.
it. And,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yep.
Schedule that text. Okay.
Please. Yes.
Who is most likely to change direction mid-sentence?
Gosh, I don't. This is hard. I feel like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're
sure.
both so ADD. that
Yeah.
It's hard
It's
to.
embarrassing.
That's what
It is
someone
embarrassing.
was asking me, like, what role we each play in the office, and I was saying, and then they were like, well, like, you know, you're type A, like, what are they? And
Yeah.
I was like, B, C, D, E. Like, I don't know. Like, they both just ping pong around.
It's so true.
Whatever that's not there, they've
Yeah.
created it.
Yes.
Type Z.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so true. We
Yeah.
can be so focused on everything else.
No, exactly.
yeah.
Well, but then, like, there's just certain things that we each are, like,
Yes.
focus on, and it's
It's
all
true.
three different, which is
Mhm.
so funny. Like, when we get in a
Yes.
room, because, like, we'll each notice something else, and we're like, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, and then we're like, what were we talking about?
Yeah.
What
Full
was the
perspective.
first sentence?
Full
Yeah.
perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's most likely to stay calm when things get chaotic?
Erica, for sure.
Uh-huh. Agreed.
Yeah.
Erica also has not so much now, but do you remember when we first started? Like,
Oh, yeah.
she would come in fired up, and then she would fire me up.
Yeah. Oh, everyone.
And,
yeah.
And so, like, this is the difference between Erica and I and Jordyn.
Yeah.
So Erica will be shot up here, and she'll shoot. You'll be like, this is like it,
This
and
is
it will
serious.
be valid.
Yeah.
Like, this is serious. And it's like, you're right.
Yeah.
And so then we're here, and then while you're still here, Erica's down.
Yep.
And back to woosah.
No, for
very
sure.
calm,
She-
I've got it figured out. And I'm like, no.
No, exactly.
We're still here.
You gotta get back up.
That and like you get fired up, but then you literally are like the poster child for forgive and forget, and not even if you don't, like, you genuinely forget. Like, we'll have to remind you of stuff, and like things that I'm like, I cannot believe that this happened, or like so and so did this, and she's like, did they really? And I'm like, yes, like, you told us this is a big thing, and she's like,
True.
I don't remember that at all, but you're like, you'll be like, yeah, that's like, I can't believe they did that. And it's like, then you remember all over again, but you're not holding grudges by any
Yeah,
means.
it's the
like,
best.
you're so
It's a
calm.
good- it has been a good growth.
Yeah,
phase.
definitely.
I was
yeah.
literally just self-reflecting about that the other day. I was like, you know what? I really hate that I forget stuff because I have to literally keep a reminder
Mhm.
on my phone
Yeah.
to remember stuff the
You
next
know the
morning.
reminder thing. You know what Jared reminded me last night. He
That you
walked
have
by
it?
and looked at it, and he read 3 things off of it, and he goes, those have been there all week. And I was like, it's because I forgot to mark them.
Exactly, but they're not.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, you know what? The one strength to that is that I forgive you quick.
Oh no, 100%. Like, when you genuinely mean, like, I'm not gonna remember this.
So
'Cause
funny.
You're not.
It's true.
Yeah, you're not gonna stay mad by any means.
Lord have mercy. That is
No.
so stinking true. I will
So
say,
funny.
staying calm when things get chaotic, you're that way in negotiations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, definitely.
In that
Mhm.
way, I say we call her the fireman. We call her the fireman. Okay, last one. Who's most likely to say we're almost done when we're not?
Oh gosh, probably me. I know that's not part of the thing, but you guys
That's
will be
good.
wrapping a meeting, and I'm like, wait, one more thing, and really it's 10 because I'm like, we're not leaving until we do all
Jordyn
it.
comes in with her own agenda.
Yes,
These are the things I'm
exactly.
crossing off
Yeah.
this list while I've got you two sitting
Yep,
here.
that's
and,
true.
No,
and we're like,
100%.
so we're done?
Nope,
No,
we're
ma'am.
not.
Nope,
No,
we're not done.
You're
Sit back down.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I love it.
That's good. How
Yeah.
fun.
No, that
I
was a
love
good
And you
one.
know what's really fun? I think the older that you get, and one of the ways that this business has allowed this for us is that we know each other so well. And
Yeah.
it's so fun to know
No, it is.
people that well. You get married and you know your spouse really well, but when you're working with people,
Yeah.
it's really fun to have the opportunity to know people really well and still love them.
Yes.
And I still love you
That's
guys
so
very
true.
much. All right. Well, this episode really reflected on what
Yay.
growth looks like
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
time and consistency. And Jordyn, you've just knocked it out of the park. I
Yeah.
mean, so excited. Thank you. Thank you. I'll let you close this.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you. And just that we want you to know how proud we are of you.
Yes.
On every level, personal, business, all the things, and just we're excited to see what's next in your life and in our lives, and just and we love that we get a front row seat with you on all of this. And thanks for coming on our podcast.
Of course.
And
Thanks for coming.
yeah, thanks for
You'll be
baby
back.
Brecken.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes, for sure, absolutely. Look for Jordyn to be leading one of these
Oh,
in
no.
the future.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come see us at
And
Van Buren.
we'll play this clip back of her saying no
Yeah.
when it happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you later.